I may have found one of my favorite places to sit. I love to take pictures. It is the relaxing thing that I do these days. And while I'm getting better, I'm not great at it. When I first started, I was awful. Absolutely awful. Because when I started, actually, I started on a 35 millimeter film camera, and I had no idea how to change the settings on the camera or what the film differences were. I didn't know what 100 ISO compared to 800 ISO meant. And so I would just plug the film in, snap the pictures, send them off to get them fixed or to get them printed, get them back. Half of them would be too dark to see. Another fourth of them would be too blurry. The white balance was way off. And I might get 3 or 4 pictures that turned out where you could see them. But man, they weren't interesting at all. When I got my first DSLR, I had one lens, and it wasn't a very good lens. It wasn't really a very good camera. But I remember I got started with a photography group in Knoxville, and one of the first things, may have been the very first event that I went to, was around Christmas time, and they were going to meet together downtown in the market area and take pictures of lights with that bokeh look, where all the lights are kind of blown out and mellow looking. And I thought, that sounds really cool. So I went up there and immediately found out right away I did not know what I was doing. You see, I had basically spent all of my time with my camera on automatic. And the camera's really, really smart. And so when you press that shutter speed down halfway, it does a lot of things. First of all, it focuses on whatever you're looking at. But then the camera decides, I need to set the ISO at this, I need to set the shutter speed here, and it does everything automatically to get everything in focus, everything looking good. It doesn't work for bokeh. When you're taking pictures and you want to get that creamy look to the lights, called bokeh, you have to have a really wide aperture on your lens. In other words, you have to open it up really wide to let in a lot of light. And that takes a certain kind of lens. And the lens that I had wasn't going to open that wide. There was no way I could take the pictures that I went up there to take. And somebody was nice enough to sit me down and talk to me about what I needed to do, how I needed to change my aperture setting. I needed a different lens. I needed to be able to control the shutter speed. I needed to be able to do a lot of different things. And that one of the best things I could ever do for myself is to get off of the automatic mode and into manual mode, where I had to control everything, so that I had to choose how much light to let in, how fast I wanted the shutter to go. I had to choose what ISO setting I wanted, which is really just how sensitive the sensor is to light. And that was scary. In many ways, learning how to make those changes in photography is a lot like the path that I've taken, and I think a lot of other people have taken when it comes to teaching. When we first start off, we are very dependent on a textbook or on worksheets or on some type of strict curriculum. We want to know, what's the next thing I have to do. And the more we're in it, the more we realize that we have the ability and the knowledge and the capability and the expertise to start branching out from there and get more and more into a manual mode of finding things that work with our kids that are not scripted for us in a full fashion. In this age, COVID age, when we are in the classroom, when we are doing things distance, when we're doing things hybrid, you have the ability, you have the opportunity to recreate, to start afresh, to experiment with the way that you are delivering content to your students. Nobody's going to fault you for that experimentation. It's going to be scary, and not everything's going to work, and that's okay. So let's all go out, let's figure out how to do this thing, and let's make this work, because the kids are dependent on it. They really are.